There is a version of you already living in a marriage that cannot reject you. A reality where love is secured, where commitment is unquestioned, and where your presence is the answer your partner has been searching for. The only question is, will you step into that version of yourself, or will you keep waiting for permission that already belongs to you? There comes a moment in your journey toward love, when you realize that the world is not waiting to decide your fate, you are. Every experience, every rejection, every delay you've ever faced in love was never the universe shutting a door on you. It was the universe showing you the gap between who you are being and who you are meant to become. The marriage reality that cannot reject you already exists, but you cannot enter it with the mindset that life must convince someone else to choose you. You enter it when you understand that reality responds to who you assume yourself to be, not to who you fear you are. The shift begins inside. It is not about chasing someone, proving your worth, or anxiously hoping to be chosen. It is about rising into the version of you who already knows. My marriage is not coming. It is already mine. This isn't arrogance, it's alignment. When you align with the identity of someone who is loved, respected, valued, and cherished, the people around you don't have a choice but to respond accordingly. The world mirrors you. The universe shapes itself around the tone of your inner voice. And marriage, the one that belongs to you, opens like a door waiting for your confident step. There is a marriage reality that cannot reject you because it is built from your inner truth, not from external approval. Every time you imagine love slipping away, you move farther from that reality. Every time you imagine love secure, permanent, and destined, you move closer to it. The question is not whether marriage is possible for you, it is whether you are willing to embody the state where you already are someone's chosen partner. When you live from that inner knowing, rejection cannot find you, delay cannot touch you, doubt cannot weaken you. Reality bends to the strength of your assumption. Imagine waking up tomorrow and deciding, I am the version of me who is already married to the person meant for me. Notice how your breath shifts, how your posture changes, how your energy lifts. You begin to walk differently. You speak differently. You no longer question whether someone loves you. You expect it. You no longer fear losing them. You know you belong to each other on a level deeper than circumstances. You no longer cling to outcomes. You feel secure from within. This inner transformation is not fantasy. It's creative power. Your mind is the architect of your reality. When you inhabit a feeling long enough, life must match it. The reason most people remain stuck in love is because they wait for evidence before changing their identity. They want the person to commit before they feel chosen. They want the ring before they feel worthy. They want reassurance before they feel secure. But this is backwards. Reality does not deliver commitment to those who feel uncertain. It delivers confirmation to those who feel chosen first. The version of you living in a marriage that cannot reject you is not hoping for love. They are radiating it. They are not chasing love. They are attracting it. They are not trying to prove they deserve love. They embody it effortlessly. To enter that marriage reality, you must release the idea that anything outside of you has the power to deny you. No person, no circumstance, no delay, no misunderstanding, no silence, no past heartbreak has the authority to block what you align with spiritually. What is meant for you does not run away. It rises to meet you, your specific person, your soulmate, your lifelong partner. Whichever term fits the love you seek is not choosing you from logic, but from resonance. And resonance is created from your internal state, not your external actions. Every day, life gives you two choices: to react from fear or to create from faith. Fear says, what if I'm not enough? Faith says, I already am enough. Fear says, what if they don't choose me? Faith says, the connection that is mine cannot be lost. Fear says, what if this never becomes marriage? Faith says, my marriage exists in the unseen, and I am stepping into it. You enter the reality that cannot reject you when your inner convictions become stronger than your outer doubts. Close your eyes for a moment and see yourself standing in the life you want. See the home, the peace, the companionship, the consistency, the emotional closeness, The safety of knowing your partner is fully yours. Feel yourself wearing the identity of a married person. Calm, secure, grounded, chosen, fulfilled. The more familiar this becomes within you, the faster your outer world restructures itself around it. What you consistently feel becomes what you eventually live. This is not magic. It is law. A law that has been shaping your life silently for years. Now you simply choose to use it. Your marriage reality begins with the stories you tell yourself every morning. If you wake up believing you are hard to love, you step into a reality where people hesitate. If you wake up believing you are easily replaceable, you step into relationships where you feel uncertain. But if you wake up believing you are unforgettable, sacred, irreplaceable, and meant for lifelong devotion, your energy shifts instantly, and so does everything around you. Your self-story becomes your reality. Change the story, and the marriage that belongs to you appears. You must stop telling the universe you are waiting. Waiting creates more waiting. Hoping creates more hoping. Wanting creates more wanting. But assuming, fully assuming, creates receiving. When you assume marriage is yours, the universe rearranges itself. Your specific person begins to feel a pull they cannot logically explain. Circumstances begin to align in ways you did not plan. Locks dissolve. Old fears fade. Communication opens. Commitment becomes natural. Marriage becomes inevitable. Not because you forced it, but because you matched the reality where it was already true. So today I invite you to step into the version of yourself who no longer doubts, no longer fears, no longer begs the universe for signs. Step into the identity where you already are, the spouse, the partner, the beloved. Live from that truth. Walk from that truth. Speak from that truth. When challenges arise, return to that inner knowing. When doubts try to whisper, silence them with certainty. When your mind wanders into fear, bring it back to faith. You are not becoming someone who deserves marriage. You already are someone destined for it. The reality that cannot reject you is built from your belief that rejection no longer exists for you. The moment you adopt this mindset, something powerful happens. You stop chasing marriage, and marriage begins chasing you. You stop seeking approval, and your energy becomes magnetic. You stop needing reassurance, and your inner calm becomes irresistible. Love flows toward those who live in alignment, not those who live in fear. You are worthy of a marriage that chooses you every day, not because you begged for it, but because you became the version of yourself who naturally receives it. Believe this. The moment you step into the identity of someone already married in spirit, life begins to orchestrate the details. Your person feels the shift. Your reality adjusts. Your timeline speeds up. What once felt distant becomes near. What once felt impossible becomes normal. And one day you wake up and realize you are living the marriage you once imagined, not because someone else finally decided, but because you did. The door to this marriage reality is open. It has always been open. It was waiting not for permission, but for your decision. And the moment you say, "This is my destiny," everything in creation bows to your conviction. Step into the marriage that cannot reject you. It already belongs to you. Now become the version of yourself who belongs to it. Your marriage reality forms the moment you assume you are already chosen, because this inner assumption becomes the vibration that everything else must mirror. When you feel chosen, your energy shifts into calm confidence instead of anxious hopefulness. People begin to sense a different presence in you, one that doesn't chase, but naturally attracts. Your specific person responds to that emotional stability, even if they can't explain why. Life starts shaping itself around this version of you who believes in your worth. The more you live from this assumption, the more aligned your experiences become. What once felt uncertain becomes steady. What once felt complicated becomes simple. You don't wait for proof anymore. You become the proof. And slowly, the reality you assumed becomes the reality you live. Reality cannot reject the identity you consistently embody from within, because your inner state is the foundation of every result you receive. The world mirrors your beliefs with precision, echoing back to you the truths you accept about yourself. When you embody the identity of someone who is loved, chosen, and valued, Circumstances must rise to match it. Rejection fades because it cannot coexist with self-certainty. Opportunities appear because you no longer stand outside them. Your specific person begins to align with you because your energy is no longer scattered with fear. You begin to walk with quiet authority, knowing your value is not up for negotiation. And the world follows your lead, because energy always goes where conviction lives. The marriage meant for you appears when your inner story becomes stronger than your outer fears, because the narrative you repeat internally becomes the blueprint for your life. Instead of letting fear dictate what is possible, you allow inner truth to guide your steps. Your story transforms from I hope to I know, and that shift creates magnetic energy. Your specific person begins to feel drawn to you, not by pressure, but by resonance. The universe begins aligning events that support your belief rather than your worries. Fear loses its control because your new story gives it no space to grow. Every thought becomes a seed of certainty. Every feeling becomes a foundation of power. And soon your marriage story unfolds exactly as you told it within. Your specific person responds to the energy of certainty, because certainty creates emotional safety, clarity, and attraction. When you feel secure within yourself, you stop seeking constant validation. This freedom creates a calmness that pulls people toward you. Your specific person feels the shift in your vibration even if you say nothing. They feel your confidence instead of your fear, your stability instead of your doubts. This makes them feel more open, more affectionate, and more willing to move forward. Certainty softens their hesitation and dissolves confusion. It becomes easier for them to imagine a life with you. And slowly the relationship begins moving in the direction your energy has already committed to. The universe aligns commitment with those who walk as if love is already secured, because conviction creates momentum. When you live as someone whose marriage is already guaranteed, you behave with grace instead of desperation. Your actions become intentional rather than reactive. You speak with trust instead of fear. This alignment sends a powerful message to the universe. I am ready. And readiness attracts everything needed to fulfill the reality you believe in. Your specific person begins to feel a natural pull toward commitment, because your energy no longer pushes or pressures. Life starts arranging circumstances that favor union. And day by day, the unseen becomes visible simply because you walked like it was already done. You enter an unshakable marriage reality when you stop waiting and start assuming, because waiting creates distance while assuming closes the gap instantly. Every moment spent waiting reinforces the idea that the blessing has not arrived, but assumption places you directly inside the reality you desire. You begin to think, speak, and act from the position of someone who already has what they once hoped for. Waiting breeds doubt, but assumption builds certainty. Waiting keeps you outside, but assumption pulls you inside. Your specific person begins to match your inner world because your energy stops contradicting your desire. And slowly, the marriage you assume becomes the marriage that unfolds before you. The version of you who is already married in spirit naturally attracts the marriage prepared for you, because alignment makes manifestation effortless. When you become that version internally, your thoughts shift into peace, your emotions shift into stability, and your energy shifts into magnetism. You no longer wonder if marriage will happen. You feel it. You no longer worry about losing your person. You trust the bond. This inner marriage creates an aura of certainty that your specific person feels deeply. They begin to see you differently, respond differently, and prioritize differently. You stop chasing the future and start living from it. And as your inner world stabilizes, your outer world simply follows the script you already wrote in spirit.